You gain control of J.K. Rowling's Twitter account for a day. What unnecessary piece of information do you add to Harry Potter lore? Please like, subscribe and comment so I can create more videos for you. Hermione has been secretly hoarding corn, yes, as in corn on the cob, in her room since she was very young. Even after she left for Hogwarts, she continued to hoard corn in her dorm. She never speaks about it, she just quietly collects the vegetable as if it's second nature. One day, Harry and Ron discovered her corn stash. Since then, they frequently ask her about why she collects corn, but she pretends she never heard that and keeps talking to them about the things they were previously discussing. Luna Lovegood's husband dies in a Crumple-Horned Snorkag-related accident and she remarries Neville Longbottom. They have 2 children together and have a happy, blended family while Neville goes on to become one of the most renowned herbologists in Hogwarts history, using Luna's talents for hunting the unknown and Neville's unparalleled bravery to find new species of plants that help cure Alzheimer's and other memory-related issues. They die in Peru at the ripe age of 102 and 99 respectively, in a humping mangrove accident. Cursed Child isn't canon. Harry obviously is tired of fighting dark wizards, so after he goes to his 7th year at Hogwarts, McGonagall lets them all come back for a do-over. He goes pro in Quidditch and wins several World Cups for England. When he retires he goes back to Hogwarts to teach defense against the dark arts and prank everyone using the map and cloak. Hijinks ensue. Ron goes to work with the dragons. Hermione compiles the wizard version of Wikipedia, Google centralizing wizard knowledge, and then goes to wizard law school, then becomes Minister of Magic later in life. This is pretty much my canon regardless of what other nonsense has been said, so the rest of the world can agree with me now. A scene after the Deathly Hallows ending, revealing paramedics pulling a limp 11-year-old Harry Potter from the cupboard under the stairs, and resuscitating him from carbon monoxide poisoning due to the leaky furnace. Young Harry says, "I had the most wonderful dream. I was a wizard." Uncle Vernon exclaims, "You're going to pay for the rescue wagon, and you probably broke the furnace too." Aunt Petunia calls him an insufferable child. Dudley laughs while eating an entire pie, calls Harry a wanker. After the events of the 7th book, as part of therapy, Harry became proficient at bridge, the Muggle card game. He attended several tournaments wearing hats to hide his scar, but no one really cared. He would rent a hotel room for whole weekends. Ginny understood it was something Harry needed for himself, and the understanding was that there was to be no communication between them during his bridge cash-ins. He met an older woman at a tournament in Leeds and had a one-night stand with her. She ended up pregnant, which was a surprise for both of them. He brewed her an abortion potion, but she refused to take it, promising Harry the baby would never interfere with his wizard life. She ended up losing the child to a miscarriage in the 3rd trimester. She never told Harry, or spoke to him ever again. After the stress of the pregnancy, Harry never played competitive bridge again, but he'd get a Muggle paper delivered to his house in order to read the bridge column. Ginny saw him crying to himself one morning and desperately wanted to ask, but the rift between them was already unspeakably wide and she had secrets of her own. Dealing with the rogue flying car in the Forbidden Forest falls under the purview of the Misuse of Muggle Artifacts Office, and is therefore Arthur Weasley's job. Arthur Weasley, after hearing Ron's and Harry's accounts of its behavior, is too scared to deal with it, and years later his successor is given the file in his onboarding package. He, as well, is too scared to deal with it, even with fresh reports of sightings in the greater Hogsmeade area. It is only when his successor's assistant, a hot-headed great-grandchild of Hermione Granger, finds the file while on temporary administrative punishment duty that something is done. He spends his entire 1-month probationary period backpacking in the Forbidden Forest, after a tense standoff with the Centaurs, to hunt the wayward automobile. He returns with a rusted hood ornament, a shift knob, and a car battery, nearly unrecognizable under half a century of corrosion, as proof of his conquest. The hood ornament is mounted outside the office door forever after. That it was all the fantasy of Hedwig the entire time. She was just one poor lonely, bored and neglected owl kept in a small cage all her life, and daydreamed to keep from going insane and attacking her owners, as that would surely have her killed. She spent so long daydreaming, her own stories became contrived and convoluted. I can see it now, as well as the thousands of polarized fans either adoring the new angle and eating it right up or instantly being turned off of the entire franchise. Lily Potter had a secret, short-lived affair with Snape, and Harry is actually his child. He's aware of this, but out of his love for Lily agrees to never tell Harry, or visit him for any reason. The reason Snape hates Harry so much is because he is bitter and angry that James Potter deprived him not only of his one and only true love, Lily, but also his only child. A child he can never tell the truth to. The internal conflicts from the affair is what led him turning to Voldemort's side early on, because even though he hated James, he felt he had wronged him. In his self-loathing he takes it out on Harry, whom he sees as making the same mistakes he did, and as a younger version of himself. 50% chance Rowling says something along these lines about Snape and a character at some point. And I'd be surprised if this isn't fanfic already. 100% popped into my head when read this, because it'd be just another way to F up the universe and make things worse. I hope she never reads this thread, because it will all become canon from here on out. Edited for grammar and because I forgot James dies when Harry's an infant. And X200B. J.K. Rowling has developed a reputation of going back and adding details, changing things, sometimes unnecessarily to try to remain hip relevant. The most recent one that everyone is talking about is that in Pottermore, it was revealed that at Hogwarts before the miracle of indoor plumbing, wizards used to shit on the floors wherever they were and then magic it away. World building is important, but some fans think it's kinda ridiculous she would actually address something like this directly. As one fan said, sometimes, Potterless is Pottermore. Every piece of lore I've added to the Harry Potter world via Twitter was a mistake and should not be taken seriously. I support minority representation, but at the time, I was more focused upon finding success than wielding power I did not yet have. Nagini is not an Asian woman. Hermione was always envisioned as white. Dumbledore was not originally conceived as gay. I never had the courage to explicitly make Dumbledore gay because of fear of backlash. I have unintentionally weakened the support of all minority groups by attempting to inject association with those groups, retroactively, and I deeply apologize. I'm also ending the Fantastic Beasts franchise. I was underprepared and the scripts have gone completely awry. It was ambitious of me to try to make another franchise from source material that was effectively a fun reference material and a chance for me to make up fun little creatures in my world building. I will return to creating these fun little creatures because that's what I'm most passionate about. I would cry from relief if this was on her Twitter tomorrow. I hate how backwards she has to bend to support her ridiculous claims. Each tweet brings new fear that she'll further sully my memories of the books and movies. She needs to stop being famous, or start growing up. Edit. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. I just ran out of my previous gold subscription from the last time someone gave me gold. It literally ran out today. So this is great timing. Edit 2. It's been made clear to me that there's reasonable evidence that Dumbledore was intended to be gay. So my original version has been changed because that's what reasonable people do when confronted with evidence. However, my anger about this tweet reveal still stands because she never had the courage to actually make him gay. And by revealing this afterwards as canon instead of writer's notes is cheap and lazy. Instead, she could have started a bigger conversation about how she was afraid of losing sales if she explicitly made Dumbledore gay because of the very real homophobia that exists across the world. She could have owned the fact that she regrets not making him gay in the books, and used that as a jumping off point to actually further a discussion about actual homophobia. But she didn't. She chose the path that made her seem most woke, and lots of people saw through it. I originally did not. BTW. My friends in the LGBT community revealed this perspective to me, and I changed my opinion of the retcon. Edit 3. Okay, seriously, why does this have 3 gold now? Thank you to all the kind strangers. This edit has another piece attached though. I've learned that the whole Black Hermione thing was in response to racists being upset at a casting choice, and not some big retcon. That actually makes a big difference. I'm completely fine with her making a new text, the Cursed Child TV show, and reinterpreting her characters. That's actually great, and I wish more authors tried this. If anything, a black version of Hermione is potentially more interesting because of the additional adversity she'd face for being both a Nomad and black. So I struck out that line and I'm not replacing it. It wasn't an actual retcon. A. Don't make the mistake of blanket statements on Rowling's changes. Writers do have tons of unused data about characters that just never comes up, especially in projects with 10+ years of pro-writing. I felt her Hermione comments could easily be late additions in misperceived fan service, or not, there's no evidence either way, but the Dumbledore thing is pretty well documented in her favor. There are several interviews from around the shooting of the 6th film referencing this that predate it becoming public knowledge. At least one with Yates and one with Radcliffe. And it only came up on set because Yates had a line about a girlfriend he wanted Gabon to read, and Rowling took him aside when preparing for the read-through and brought it up with him. Yates confirmed this, so if you still want to question it, you have to upgrade this fancy to a conspiracy. There is also the argument, a very good argument, that having to explicitly announce in published text a character's sexuality just to gain the capital to speak about the character that way is far more demeaning to the community than what has been perceived here. If your 150-year-old headmaster can't be gay unless he has some throwaway line about wanting some dick, when the events of the book have nothing to do with that, that would be obnoxious, and bad writing. Good writing is characters revealing truths about themselves only when it is organic to do so. There are characters who never had a hair color specified, until it was. Ask yourself why you're fine with that.